What's up you guys, and welcome back to another Reddit reading video. Today we're going to be doing another r/ultimate revenge challenge. I don't know why I call it r/ultimate revenge challenge when it's just ultimate revenge challenge. Technically I've been calling it ultimate revenge fresh challenge since I got the idea from fresh. Oh, whatever. The main thing is we're doing an r/pettyrevenge, an r/prorevenge, an r/nuclearrevenge, and the almighty, once again, big mammo jammo, r/SuperNovaRevenge. Let's get into the r/pettyrevenge with ride my butt, get pulled over. So this happened a while ago, but I still laugh about it. I was on my way home from a pretty major state route where their speed limit was 55 until you go through a town and it can drop down to 45, sometimes 30. In this story, it drops down to 45. So I was coming down a pretty significant hill, and we all know that vehicles pick up speed while going down. As I came down the hill, I started braking since the town had a speed limit of 45. The guy behind me did not like that. He was on my butt so incredibly bad, I could count the whiskers on his face. As I went through town, I had to pass the fire department, and sitting on the opposite side of the road was a state trooper. Cue petty revenge. As I drove past the state trooper, I gestured to the cop to look behind me. I didn't think anything would happen because who's that lucky? Apparently, me. I kept watching my rear view mirror, and roughly about a mile out of town, the a-hole behind me got pulled over. Thank you, New York State Trooper. This is the revenge every driver wants. Whenever they see someone's on their butt, they're like, oh, why couldn't there be a cop right now behind me? This guy got that wish. He took everyone's luck on the highway. I'm not gonna lie, when people start to ride my butt whenever I'm driving, I start to go like 15 underneath the speed limit. Like, usually I'll go like 5 over, but if I'm doing that, if I'm doing like 5 or 10 over and you ride my butt, we're slowing down. Either that or I'll go the same speed as the car that I can get next to. Not if I have people in the car with me, just if I'm by myself. I don't want to get anyone else into danger. But I'm just too passive aggressive to let that kind of stuff get by. Alright, on to the pro-revenge. And before I read these pro-revenge and nuclear revenge, I've actually noticed that the people that moderate pro-revenge and nuclear revenge take off 90% of the stories and don't let most of them get posted. Like, the newest stories are always like a week out because they don't allow, subpar stories to come through, and that's why you see a lot of people reading the same pro-revenge and nuclear revenge. Like, there hasn't been any for the new ones in this past week, so like any new ones that come up, people will read them, and that's what everyone's going to be hearing. But during this ultimate revenge challenge, we try to go through and pick some of the short ones, just because the supernova revenge is supposed to be the bread and butter of this event, not some little pro-revenge. Stealing my notes? Guess who won't graduate high school? I first posted this in Nuclear Revenge, though I think it's not that drastic, so I thought here was more fitting. So this happened in 2018 when I graduated high school. A quick overview of the Swiss school system. Normally, you go through school until 9th grade. If you want to go to university later, you can change your grammar school from 8th to 12th grade. I decided to study and went to high school. Also, in Switzerland, my state canton at least, everything under a 75% is a fail. We have a really strict thing going on there. There, I quickly became friends with Chelsea, now my girlfriend, and Alicia. Alicia is the kind of person that is funny if you don't have her around too much. She is always the victim, she can only talk about herself, etc. But if you spend too much time with her, you are a mess. She is never responsible for things that happen with her because she grew up in foster care system, whatever. So this happened about 2 months before our finals. Now, graduating means passing the finals obviously, but not only them, the finals are half of your eventual grade. The other half is your last report card. If I had an A on my final English exam, but a C in my last report card, my eventual grade would become a C. What? I mean a B, and so on. Sorry guys. Alicia really struggled with that because her report card wasn't that good. She had to excel in most of the subjects to graduate. So you would think she'd write as many notes as possible and study pretty early, right?
Nope.
She procrastinated until 2 months before our final exams, when I and Chelsea studied our butts off. Now, I was always a girl who offered her notes in our class group chat in case someone was interested. This gets important later. We had a fairly long list of things that we would be able to use in the maths, and I wrote notes for every single topic and kept in a folder in my locker. Only put some of them in the group chat just when someone was asking about a certain topic. One day, I went to my locker and they weren't there. I was freaking out. I spent weeks on writing them. I looked for them an entire week and approximately 3 panic attacks because I thought I wouldn't pass now and had to do them all over again. That's when Alicia casually told me she took them the other day when I asked her to get a book from my locker. She actually hadn't planned to tell me it because it's not like you need them anyways, you had them long enough. If you didn't make copies, it's not my fault. The blatant entitlement was enough for me to come up with a plan. A vicious plan. Not only had she stolen my notes, if I hadn't bothered her so much with it, she wouldn't even have told me she had taken them. And she was only a high school friend anyway, and I knew I'd never do anything with her again once we graduated. So frankly, I didn't give a single duck about what would happen to her. Her entitled self-centered way was enough for me to finally burst. I apologize for making drama. It's okay, you're just like that sometimes. I was about to lose it, and just continued my school day. Now, Alicia kept calling me about the notes, etc. even before that, especially my notes for various books. She'd chosen the same books so she didn't have to study extra. I started giving her a wrong analysis into fake notes. Obviously, enough to figure out they were wrong if she'd think herself, but not too obvious. If she read the books, she would have known it was BS. I did the same with our English books and French. She already had my math notes too. I couldn't fake those, but I could fake German, French, English, chemistry, physics, and psychology. Now, after I had invested so much in faking notes, I watched it all go down for the day before graduation. We went to a pub with our teacher to watch a football game, I don't even remember, and she distributed our results. I passed with a 5.38. In Switzerland, the grades are from 1 to 6. 6 is the best, so about an A. And Alicia went pale. 3.21, a D-. She had failed all of her classes but maths and psychology. Oops, it seems she really read my notes. She didn't read the books she was supposed to read. She didn't read our textbooks. I had to hide a grin. My girlfriend thinks to this day it was cruel, but seriously, it was a damper for her entitlement and narcissism. From what I heard, she is currently trying to repeat the year and try again, hopefully without stealing her friend's notes. Edit, thank you to everyone that explained the difference between a cup and a mug. Edit 2, many people are asking me, and no, I don't regret it. To pass her finals, she had to study and read her French, German, and English books. The task was not just to read the notes and BS her way through them. The language finals were done orally. If she had read the books, she would have known my notes were not correct. So honestly, her fault. Ooh, that sucks. But that's kind of what she deserves. You can tell that this person was a big jerk to everyone around them, was just like a giant black hole of negative energy. This is one of those friends that you're around sometimes because you can just like barely stand them and you just want someone else to be there with your group, but you wouldn't be upset if they just left and never came back. To be fair, in high school, I never studied. I don't think I studied once, ever. I just kind of learned what I learned in class and I just used whatever I learned in class to pass. I have kind of good memorization of watching someone talk, but like reading through stuff is just like not my stuff. Studying is just, it hardly works for me. I don't know why. So I kind of just skipped over that portion in school and it all just kind of worked out. I'm not saying if you're in high school do this. That's not a good idea. If you can do that, I mean, hey, more free time. But if you can't, just study the notes. It's fine. On to the nuclear revenge, which is sadly only just a barely bit smaller than that last one. These stories are always like a little bit longer than normal. Also, I'm like gonna be blurring out and not saying any of the like quote unquote bad words because our videos are getting demonetized and you know that's just not working out for me. So I'm sorry if you guys wanted to see these totally dirty, disgusting words, but just trying to imagine them there, okay? All right, nuclear revenge time. Assistance from HE double hockey sticks. Let me preface this by saying I'm still going through some mental issues because of what happened in this story. Background, I was born with cataracts that later became glaucoma when I turned 5. After some years, something happened that caused me to lose all my vision in my left eye. This meant that I needed an assistant for the rest of my education. Now that you're all informed, the story. When I was starting middle school, my parents found an assistant to help me move around my school. I'll call her Ella for simplicity's sake. Anyway, Ella's friendly to me and my parents, so they didn't have to worry. Ella did her job and she was friendly with me. And then it began. One day, Ella didn't come to school. She called my dad saying she got in an accident on the road. It was fine. She got in an accident. It wasn't her fault. I spent the first 2 weeks of school trying my darndest to explain why I couldn't write the work and give a convincing argument, and walk around without bumping into every wall in person. On top of that, Ella became more and more hostile as the months went by. She then began telling me awful things about my appearance, my personality, and she talked junk about me and my parents to other teachers who were just as scummy as her. The only reason why I didn't say anything is because she made me think that doing so would get me expelled. And me being stupid 13-year-old, I believe her. Needless to say, I was miserable. The straw that broke the camel's back was the day where she was so angry that she slapped me. I was done. The revenge. I told my dad about everything. The absences, the slander, everything. When I told him, he went absolutely ape poo-poo. And we went straight to the principal. After telling her everything that happened, we found out that Ella was present to write herself up as president, but she had never arrived to help me. We also found out she had faked most of her reasons for absence. After a long investigation that took 2 years to actually prove, we took Ella to court. I only had to testify every single detail which she did and what she said Long story short, we won the case and Ella went to prison for 3 years. After word got out about what Ella did to me, my father heard that her friends and family basically disowned her. She had also lost the remaining custody of her kids, which went directly to her ex-husband, who works for a vendor that passes by my school. Ella became forgotten garbage. It's been almost a year since Ella went to prison, but sometimes I still hear all the terrible things she says. Thanks to her, I'm scared to make decisions because I can't get her words out of my mind. I'm going to start school soon. Maybe I'll finally get the demon woman out of my head. Edit, thank you for the kind words. Honestly, I thought this was going to get ignored. At the time of writing this, I'm going to start my 2nd year of high school. I'm just happy that even strangers on the internet are willing to say such nice things. Thank you all for the support. Edit 2, I've noticed some comments confused about my condition. I'll clarify. To be perfectly honest, I don't really know how it happened. I don't remember since it was a long time, at least for me. After Ella stopped being nice is when I started seriously learning how to use a cane for blind people. Yeah, true, I mean, you're not going to be able to switch from being able to see a little bit to being able to walk around with a cane blind knowing how to use it, right? But dang, screw Ella, that's like the scum of the scum, picking on people that can hardly stick up for themselves. These are the worst type of people to know and be around. And I bet you she picked that jobs just so she can be, like, that's the kind of narcissistic personality trait that people have when they just want to have someone that's small so they can feel almighty and make the other person feel insignificant. It's terrible. But man, 3 years, that's crazy. Like I maybe it's like falsifying documents, because like a slap to the face, like open hand slap, that's assault charge. What is that, like maximum 6 months in jail or something? Dude, there must have been more charges in there than just the slap. Alright, on to the SuperNovaRevenge. Checkmate in double time. I don't know if this is pro or not, but here it goes. Excuses, language, mobile, etc. Once upon a time, when I was in the 8th grade, I had 2 bullies, a kid and a teacher. So let's see the cast. Me, English teacher, bully. So let's go to the story. The plot happened like this. In my school in Puerto Rico, I had a bully that unfortunately was always put into my homeroom. Of 30 students, approximately over and over. And at 8th grade, I had an English teacher that had a lot of errors in grammar and speech. People say I have patience, so it was easy to target me. Do you remember how a rubber band works? That was me. The teacher was yelling at me because I wasn't on the same level as the class and had a different pronunciation as my teacher. Until one day, I waited until after class and I told her that she was doing something wrong in class. So she destroyed my scholarship because she would not give me anything other than a C after the event. So, no music, no money to study, no peace at the house. My parents were abusive in the worst ways, so they stepped it up a notch. My friend started making my bully go against the English teacher, and so I started to do pranks and mess around with all her stuff. Like unfolding the chairs when she would use, hide her key, put menacing notes in her desk and purse, and accrediting the glory to my bully until she became so paranoid in the classroom, but nobody suspects the nice teacher's pet that apologized to the English teacher. One day, I decided to go
coup de grace
and aggravated him until he was yelling at the English teacher and the English teacher was trying to scold and drag him to the principal's. Then, my bully got out of her grasp and started fighting her. So I had a thought. While the commotion was going on, I broke her windows and mirrors in her car with an extra shirt from the gym bag, then used a charge to scratch the paint off and left the shirt on the crime scene. My bully got suspended and banned from most of the schools in my area. My English teacher had a meltdown and was forced to retire while I told her about the whole plan as she deteriorated. Edit 1, she was admitted to a psychiatric institution. Oh my goodness. One thing that still sucks is this guy still has to be in an abusive household. So that sucks, but I mean, at least he could get out some anger on 2 people that definitely deserved it. But man, he ruined her car, he took her job away and sent her to a loony bin and got his bully suspended. He must be like living like he must be the king of his friend group. They must be like, whoa, yeah, there's Jimmy, woo, he made the English teacher go crazy, go Jimmy, woo. What do you guys think? Was that a SuperNovaRevenge? Was that a supernova as you expected? Let me know down in the comments. There were some grammatical errors in this that was like, makes you want to pull your hair out. So I didn't exactly read everything word for word, but that's okay. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe. I got my Patreon down below if you want to visit that. Thank you guys once again so much for watching, and goodbye, my lovelies.